Right now at the Home Depot, shop Spring Black Friday savings and get up to 40% off, plus up to $500 off select appliances from top brands like Samsung. Get a fridge with 0 clearance hinges, so the doors open fully even in tighter spaces in your kitchen. And laundry that saves you time, like an all-in-one washer-dryer that can run a full load in just 68 minutes. Shop Spring Black Friday savings, plus get free delivery on appliance purchases of $998 or more at the Home Depot. Offer valid April 9th through April 29th. U.S. only. See store online for details.
K-pop Demon Hunters Haja Boys breakfast meal and Huntrix meal have just dropped at McDonald's. They're calling this a battle for the fans. What do you say to that, Rumi?
It's not a battle. So glad the Saja Boys could take breakfast and give our meal the rest of the day.
It is an honor to share.
No, it's our honor.
It is our larger honor.
No, really. Stop.
You can really feel the respect in this battle. Pick a meal to pick a side.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
At participating McDonald's while supplies last.
Welcome back to The Give, a Lawrence First and Goal podcast. This week, we're featuring Army's John Luce, who's also Lauren's dad. You know, the conversation starts where great football always starts, getting off blocks, tackling well, and taking the ball away. Coach Luce does a tremendous job breaking those ideas down in a way you can take right to your practice field. In this first segment, he gets into block destruction, not just playing hard, but playing with the right eyes, the right leverage, and the right understanding of what the block is trying to do to you. He also talks about defeating the block first, then relocating to the football. And he gets into the difference between boxing a block and spilling it, which is the kind of teaching that can clean up a defense in a hurry. Be sure to check out the entire presentation, which Coach Luce did as part of the 2026 Lawrence First and Goal Clinic. You can find that at lfgclinics.com. Here's Coach Luce.
Hi, this is John Luce from Army Football and Lawrence First and Goal. I'm going to give you a brief intro to block destruction, which you can find the whole hour and 6-minute video on at lfgclinics.com. Hope you follow us on both of these Twitters here down at the bottom, and hope you take advantage of this tremendous opportunity. You get over 700 hours of video content for an entire year for your whole staff of 10, or you can get the prime package for just one person, but it's a great deal. And it's one of the only things on planet Earth that isn't affected by inflation. So I hope you get a chance to check this out. You know, a long time ago, Vince Lombardi coached here at Army West Point, and I'm sure he said this a ton, but it's all about blocking and tackling. So I'm going to hit on block destruction, because if it's about keeping people blocked on offense, and obviously it's all about getting off blocks and be able to relocate the football and down the football. So this is just the intro slide, but I talk to the guys all the time about, you know, one, what is your key? What is going to get us moving in the direction we want to go to start? So I want to make sure my guys are looking at it all the time. I'm going to get behind the offense as much as I possibly can to watch, to see exactly where their eyes are, especially when it's not 11 on 11 and we're doing walkthroughs or inside run or any things we're trying to work on there, right? But you can't defeat a block if you don't look at that block. You got to defeat blocks and relocate the football in that order. If you're looking past him, you know, I say to my guys all the time, the blocker's not looking past you to someone else. He's looking right at you. So you better have the same focus and look at him. And then I talk about if the ball is in phase or out of phase. The object is not to fight blockers. The object is to down the football. So if the ball's out of phase and I can beat him over the top or underneath and still make that play, I want to do that. And I think it partly depends where you are on the field too. I tell my guys, there's no purpose in going over top of a block when the ball's deep in the red zone. It's still a touchdown by rule if it enters the end zone with the football. But I want to attack blockers, and that's what I'm going to just focus here on this brief talk here. Leverage on the block. What is my primary responsibility? One, what is my gap side? What is away from my gap? Because I want to make sure if it's going to my side, so if I'm on the left of a block and that ball looks like it's going to go to the left of that block, I need to get off that block now. I need to defeat that block and be able to down the football. If I'm on the left side of a block and that's my responsibility, then I'm going to be really slow getting off that block. I want to make sure the ball is literally crossing by me. They can't jump cut. And then I talk all the time um, about whether I want to spill that block or I want to box that block. I use these two terms all the time because then one, box, it keeps my outside arm and leg free. I need to knock the ball back into the other defenders, right? I'm an outside linebacker coach right now, so that's exactly what I have to do most of the time, but not always. And I want to define it clearly when I'm a coordinator, exactly what we want with that block. Right. So if I box it, keep my outside arm and leg free, I need to make all plays outside of that block. Right. If I'm going to spill it, and I use the word spill because I want the ball to bounce deep and outside, right? And I'm really talking there about a kick out block. So, and the inside backers a lot, they're trying to bounce the ball deep and outside, especially if it's an ISO play and I've got linebackers on either side of me or at least where I'm trying to knock that football. So I think it's critical that you explain to guys all the time and ask them all the time in the meeting room, on the field, what am I supposed to do with that block? I need to box that block. I need to spill that block. Just one word definitions, exactly what they're doing. Um, Hands and hips. I want to use my hands whenever possible. There's times when I'm going to shoulder blow a block and then I got to get my hands on it. That typically to me is a guard tackle kick out block. Sometimes a fullback block, depending on who you are and who that person is. But if I can use my hands, I want to use my hands. I want to stay alive. I don't want to trade one for one. And it's always same foot, same shoulder, just like when I get to the tackling part of the clinic. But I want to keep, if I turn my shoulders, this is what kids do all the time, and my guys do it. They want to turn their shoulders toward the football. I want to keep my shoulders pointed toward the line of scrimmage or toward the other end zone. I want to keep my inside foot up and my outside foot back when I'm taking on these blocks, right? So again, I have my power foot in the ground just like I do when I'm going to tackle. That gives me all my power. I talk about pad level. You really want your hands above your eyes, right? So I have my hands above my eyes, and I talk to them about, do I want to play underneath my pads or behind my pads? If I stand straight up and down, I am playing underneath my pads. So if my shoulder pads are here and I'm standing straight up and down, I'm underneath my pads. I want to play behind my pads where I have all my power. To me, you don't roll your hips when you're taking on a block. You roll your hips when you tackle because that's the finished product. I need to get off the block. I need to continually play behind my pads and use my hands so I am low man wins, which we talk about all the time. You got to constantly point that out on tape. I talk about tight hands, tight wrists, tight elbows. If everything is tight, and I've seen where they have like a handcuff, a rubber handcuff type thing, where I've seen the D-line use those devices to keep their hands in tight, I have much more strength than if my elbows are out. I don't have that same kind of strength. So I want to work all the time. Tight hands, tight wrists, tight elbows. And my guys are hearing me say that over and over and over as we take on blocks. And then I mentioned this earlier, but I want to be fast to my gap side and slow away. What I don't want to do, if I'm to the left of the block, let the ball go out to my left. If it goes to my right, I want to violently pull to get off that block. And I often there, I'm going to talk about this later too, is have a chance to strip the football. I want to violently explode off the block. You will, if your hands are outside, then you're going to get held. And you have to refuse to get held, and don't give that as a cop-out for your guys. Get your hands inside, and then when you pull and rip and use his momentum to your advantage, he's going to lean on you, and that's when I pull and use that advantage. Then I want to pull and rip. I never want to swim a run block. So I pull and rip, accelerate my feet to get off that, pursue the football, and that's really, to me, how you get off a block. You have to practice block destruction and tackling every day. So hope you can check out this video. If you like it, please hit the like and please subscribe to LFG Clinics, which is on our YouTube channel. And that's where we'll put this. All right. Thanks a ton. And I hope you can check it out.
With an LFG Clinics membership, you get access to hundreds of hours of clinic content for your staff. For you get with LFG Clinic, with an LFG Clinics premium membership, you get access to hundreds of hours of clinics covering every side of the ball and every level of coaching. It's a year-round resource built for coaches who want ideas they can actually use. Head over to lfgclinic.com to learn more.
this is just a intro for the last portion of the block destruction and tackling, where I had some closing thoughts for you, and then there's some video that would follow this that you can check out on the full clinic. Here's some things that I think. I think as a coordinator, if I ever get to coordinate again, make a tackle opportunity cut up for every position. So every position is different. So I think that if you're all practicing the exact same drills, I think you're making a big mistake. The outside linebackers have different opportunities than the inside linebackers, right? The D line has different opportunities. The D line, a lot of times, they're working on stuff where they're still engaged with the guy and they got to stick an arm out, right? All right. So it's a lot different. Obviously, the guys who rush the passer, which, a lot of defenses anymore, it's everyone, but that tackling is different with a quarterback, not letting him out of the pocket, trying to strip the football. But if you make a cut up and you show it to your kids all the time, then I think you'll use drills that make the most sense. You might be making a lot more minus tackle opportunities where the ball's running away from you than you think. So you really need to look at that and see where you're struggling the most. I think that's helped me a lot as a football coach, because I watch that drill and I say, okay, we need to work on this. It's immediate feedback. Offense has to practice tackling. We do this at West Point. We did this at Lafayette. I think it's something you absolutely have to do. One, for a safety standpoint, obviously you don't want somebody to really get hurt because they just haven't been instructed or practiced tackling. And it doesn't have to be a full speed collision. Obviously, there's all kinds of different ways to practice it with crash pads and using all the blocking devices we have anymore, punch in the hip, which I talked about earlier, but having a practicing tackle with your offensive players, and this includes your quarterbacks. I think that's a huge thing that you have to have, because every interception or every fumble recovery can't be a touchdown. I think defense practice ball security. I would do that at the same time, and that's how we operate. I think it's critical that, we talk about all the time about shinning the football. Coach does a phenomenal job here at Army West Point, Jeff Monken, of working the ball, but also taking my hand, and when I'm going to have contact, of truly chinning this football, not bringing it across, not switching hands. I don't care on defense which hand you put it in. I don't think we're going to utilize the other hand that often, or we're going to stiff arm a guy. I know guys work on that, but we carry the ball so little on defense that I want to make sure they put it in their strong hand, and I want to protect it with the other hand. And this video clips coming up in this video where it'll show you exactly what I'm talking about. We don't want to give back the ball, right? Offense practice basic pursuit drill on an interception. I've never seen this done, and I don't know why. I think, I see teams all the time. I'm the field goal block coach, and I see our field goal unit when they kick a deep kick, they're yelling cover when the ball's away, so they cover in case somebody does return it. I don't know why you wouldn't practice the same thing. Have a plan on offense of when the ball is intercepted down the field, that we can spread out, even if the linemen are just getting in the way, that they are truly getting away and we're not just chasing the same colored jersey. I think that's something that would absolutely practice, and I don't know why you would not do that. Emphasis on takeaways. So let's emphasize trying to get the ball away. And I think if you don't do that, it's not going to happen. There's years when we practice it a ton and we didn't get the results we wanted. But if you practice it over and over and you have great pursuit, then you're going to get opportunities where you get the ball back. So nose the ball into the tuck. This is another thing we do a great job at West Point. And it's constantly harped on over and over and over, that we're looking at the point of the football, that we're looking in the nose of the tuck, and we're nosing it all the way into the tuck, that we're looking it down. We're not looking up the field before we catch the football. I think that's a huge deal. Catch the football. I know at Lafayette one year we were second in interceptions, and we dropped about 6 or 8 of the interceptions. Nose the ball in the tuck, attack the football. Force fumbles from the side or the back. And again, this can be practiced. I'm going to show you some great drills if you go to the full video here. But you're coming from the side, you got an opportunity to knock that ball loose. Let's knock the ball loose. You're not going to miss tackles doing that. Force fumbles when the ball carrier is going down. Here's another one you can use on a crash pad, and I'll show you some drills coming up on how to do that. But the ball carrier is going down anyway. That's when he's at his worst, turning the football over. All right, second man in. I'll show you a video of we get in there, the ball is in the pile, the ball carrier is still trying to try to get some momentum go, and we have the ability to pull the elbow away and pull that ball out, right? Different ways to do that. Hit the quarterback's elbow. The quarterback fumbles more than anyone does. So let's make sure that we're going for the ball. I'm going to show you clips where we violently strip the football. When I was a kid, Lawrence Taylor always did this. I don't think we do a good enough job at this either. I think that a lot of times the quarterback is in a very vulnerable position because he doesn't have the ball put away. He's looking down the field to throw the football. So let's take advantage of that. And then the last part is the country ball, city ball. If the ball is in the middle and no one's around it, let's work on scooping and scoring the football. And I'm going to show you great pictures of taking the extra split second to square up, scrape your knuckles on the ground, and scoop that football. That way, if we don't get it, the ball travels down the field and it's 3rd and 25 or 4th and 15, not 4th and 2, where they can still go for it. If you try to pluck it, go down with my hands down, then the ball's going to stay there. Again, the ball, we say country ball because no one's around. We're going to go ahead and scoop that. If it's a city ball, that means everybody's around, and we get some great drills to do this. Now, I want to work on grabbing the football, not diving to the ground and then trying to scramble for it, but I'm going down, bending my knees to grab the football and pull it to my chest as I go down the fetal position. Also going to talk about how I think time, score, and field position matters. Lost a game this year. One of the reasons, again, it's many plays, but one of the reasons was we tried to scoop and score a fumble that it was a country ball, but I think where it was and when it was in the game, if we just get on that ball, we're going to win that football game. So I think all that matters. So time, score, field position, I think that goes into country ball, city ball, but this stuff is critical. It's the only game. This game is named after the football. It's named after the actual ball. So obviously it's really important. So let's work on trying to get it back. When we do get it back, let's make sure that we keep it. I hope this helps. If you like this video, please hit the like button. Please go ahead and subscribe, and we'll put many more videos in here if people are going to the site.
That was John Luce from Army West Point, and it's a great example of what LFG Clinics is all about. Real football, real coaching, real teaching you can take from the screen to the field. Whether it's block destruction, tackling mechanics, takeaway circuits, or how to organize drills by position, the full clinic library at lfgclinic.com gives you access to the kind of detailed instruction that helps you and your staff coach with more purpose. Coach Luce's full clinic expands on all of it, especially taking it to the practice application piece. The tackle opportunity cutups by position and the takeaways have to be emphasized every day if you want them to show up on game night. Go to lfgclinic.com and check out everything that comes with the membership. If you want year-round access to top-level clinic content for you and your staff, that's the place to do it. Thanks for listening to this episode of The Give.